Oh, geez, Zophia's been calling? Oh, geez, it's been like 4 episodes. We should really answer this.
Well done, Om. We'll end today's training here. Your swordsmanship has come a long way. I've always known you had talent.
You really think so? You're not just saying that, are you, Grandfather?
Either I'm getting old or you're getting better. And we both know I'm not old.
Ha! Well, good. Then that means you're ready to let me travel outside the village.
Don't misconstrue my words, boy. The rule still stands.
But why? I'm not a child anymore. You just said I can fend for myself. If I meet with any dangers, I'll have my sword and my wits.
That's not what this is about.
Then what is it about? Look, I've heard from the others. I know the drought's made Zofia a scary place. People are starving, and many have turned to thievery and plunder. Brigands loot villages for a mere sack of grain, and soon they'll be at our door. And don't think I haven't heard what the Regalian army has been up to. They've been crossing the border for years in violation of the Divine Accord. And with that sacred bond broken, now the terrors have resurfaced as well.
All true.
Zofia is full of innocent people who are looking for help. Please, Grandfather. I want to make a difference in a world bigger than a handful of houses. I want to see all the amazing places you've told me about, that Celica told me about.
Suppose you do set forth with your sword and your wits. So what? Will the grand story of your life be how you met the end of a brigand's axe? Before you dream of changing the world, learn your damn place in it. And no more talk of leaving.
What's his problem? Why teach me to use a sword if you're not going to let me fight? Every day in this place is exactly the same as the next. I know I'm meant for more than this, but you have to let me find it. Huh? What's all the commotion? It's coming from the gates.
Alright, so, welcome to a village segment. This was kind of in the original Fire Emblem Gaiden, though it was a overworld that you moved around in, you know, with an overhead sprite view. But here it's basically just some maps you can look around, which probably works out better. Honestly, you don't need to be looking around as Alm. We also got an axe back there, which you might think is an equipable weapon, but as has been mentioned, none of the playable characters can use axes, so no. It's just there to taunt you, basically. They're cute and all, but they're also kind of jerks. That's how I got this arm injury.
I think these segments are cool, but they had to be easier to make for Gaiden, because, you know, you're probably making those maps anyways.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas now you have to make, like, full 3D backgrounds and everything.
What I wouldn't give for some food. It's been years since we've had a proper harvest. Can't grow much without rain. Why has Milla forsaken us? What's happened to the Earth Mother? She's killing us by withholding her blessings. The Regalian Empire will seize our lands, and we'll be too weak to resist. You've heard how well-trained their soldiers are, haven't you? We've never toiled or fought for a thing, and we're about to pay for it.
Greedy old man, however, does not get a voice.
He knows what he did. He asked for too much money during negotiations, now he didn't get a voice actor.
The true reason is actually because, for some reason, side quests, aren't actually voiced, so this guy's going to give us something to do. He really wants some wine before he dies. But he's not as important as this woman.
You all finished with today's training? I still remember when you were only this tall, and now look at you. Sir Mycen has certainly made a strong young man out of you. I say Sir Mycen, but the story is your grandfather was once a famous general. General Mycen. I always wondered why such a fellow would end up here. Then again, the woods around Ram have become dangerous as of late. Perhaps it's for the best that we have him. And you to keep us safe.
It's good to know our plight has the nobility so grief-stricken. King Lima dances at the end of Chancellor Desay's puppet strings. The king would rather eat grapes and frolic in a seraglio than actually rule. It's no wonder the kingdom's being torn apart by rebellion after rebellion. I wish someone would come along and save us from ourselves already. What's that? The Mother Milla? I could waste my prayers on a goddess as useless as her.
Oh hey, cool, there's a drought in Zofia. Well, I'm just gonna take this drinking water, hope you don't mind.
Alright, and that's it. The village lives or dies by this well. I will not elaborate. Granted, that doesn't need much elaboration. It's just kind of a weird thing to say and then move on.
Oh, hey. This fellow's here to see Sir Mycen. He was just about to tell us more.
Alright, so we got a whole cast over here.
Sorry, pal, but I still can't trust a man in full armor. Keep one hand on your hilt while you talk to this guy, yeah?
So yes, all of the children we saw before have now grown up.
Can you believe it? What's he doing in our village? You'd have to practically ride off the edge of the map to find this place.
How was sword practice? Everything go okay? Sir Mycen is far too hard on you. I hope you don't have any new bruises.
He's sure come a long way just to find a whole lot of nothing. Whatever he's here for, I hope he hasn't brought any trouble with him.
Good day. You must be Sir Mycen's grandson. Alm, was it? My name is Lucas. I fight for the Deliverance.
The Deliverance? What's that? Aren't you one of the Knights of Zofia? The King's Knights?
Oh, I see. I suppose that means word hasn't yet reached your village. In that case, please forgive me for heralding such dark news, but King Lima IV is dead. He met his end some days ago at the hands of Chancellor Desay.
What? You're saying it was regicide?
I fear so. It seems Desay sold Zofia to the Regalian Empire, along with his soul. No doubt they promised him lands, perhaps even a title. Upon Lima's death, the Chancellor and the Regalian army seized Zofia Castle and began to visit unspeakable injustices upon the king's people. Sir Clive, of the Knights of Zofia you mentioned, would have none of it. He formed an army to free us from Regal and named it the Deliverance. However, we are outmatched and fast losing this war. We need a hero's aid. And so, I have come to the home of one of Zofia's greatest heroes, Sir Mycen. Do you see, Alm? Sir Clive would not have sent me were it not urgent. Will you take me to see your grandfather?
Yes, of course. Good goblets. I knew Zofia was in hot water, but is this guy serious? So there's going to be a war? There already is one from the sound of things.
But that's awful. If Sir Mycen rides off to war, what'll happen to Alm?
You got me. Lucas, were you able to speak with my grandfather? What did he say?
He said no. Sir Mycen made it clear he has no intention of joining the Deliverance.
What? But he's ridiculously strong. He could defeat some stuffy chancellor with his eyes closed. Why would he refuse when so many people are suffering?
I cannot speak to Sir Mycen's thinking, but it seems we misplaced our hopes. I'll have to return to our hideout and bring Sir Clive the ill news. Perhaps Mycen has simply grown too old for the battlefield. It was good meeting you, Alm. I must be on my way. Thank you again for your assistance.
He's not old. He's tougher than men half his age. Lucas, wait!
What is it?
I'll go. I'll join the Deliverance.
You?
What the hell? Hey, you can't do that. Wait, can you do that? I'll admit, you fight like a beast and they'd be lucky to have your sword. But this isn't sparring with your Gramps, Alm. You're volunteering to go to war. I know what it is. And if Grandfather won't do it, then I'll do it for him. Consider my sword as his.
I understand how you feel, but
Sir Mycen has been teaching me to use a blade since I was a boy. I've received tutelage in military tactics, medicine, weather, terrain. I know as much about war as any man who has never seen one can. Let me fight for you with my grandfather's gifts. I'll prove he's no cowardly old man. He's a warrior who trains warriors.
that might just work.
Huh? Then you mean... Oh, come on. You can't be serious.
Why not? Alm presents a good case. He has a hero's blood in him, and clearly a hero's fire. His presence is sure to raise the troops' morale. And for my part, I'm curious to see what a self-proclaimed warrior can do. Especially now that he'll be doing it for the Deliverance.
Thank you, Lucas. You won't regret this. I've seen a lot of cake-taking in my day, but this really takes the cake.
You should back out of this. It's far too dangerous. If anything were to happen to you, just don't do it, okay?
I'm sorry, Fey, but I've made up my mind. But... maybe all of you could come with me.
What?
Splendid idea. Maybe we could all get impaled on the same lance.
I'm just saying we could do it together. Fighting, I mean, not the lance. Grandfather trained all of us, right? Not just me. You already know how to use a sword and a bow, so what's the problem? Are you insane? We were sparring with wooden fences and tree trunks. They don't hit back. Oh, sod it all. I'm not as bright as I'd like to think I am, so, count me in. Gray, not you too. Me too, Toby Poo. It's better than waiting for Rigel to reach Ram and kill, slash, and slave us. Might as well bring the fight to them. But you're gonna... once they...
You have my thanks, Gray, and the Deliverance welcomes you. In the end, we need every able fighter we can get. There will be much to learn, but I can teach you a great deal in battle. And you'll be given a proper wage, of course.
Wait, you mean we get paid? As in actual money?
Of course. Our soldiers work hard and sacrifice much. We would be remiss not to offer compensation.
I've got little brothers and sisters who could use that gold. Ma and Pa struggle to make ends meet. But if there's a way to help... Tobin, you don't have to go if you don't want to. Why don't you all take a little time to think about it? Let's split up for now and meet back here later. I need to go thank my grandfather and say goodbye.
Alright, so we got a little bit of walking around to do, so
Take all the time you
I
need,
think that's all Lucas really says. So, voice actors. I guess we'll just start with the main character, Alm, voiced by Kyle McCarley. Gray is voiced by Max Middleman. Tobin is voiced by Robbie Damons. And let's see, going down the list, Cliff is voiced by Chris Patton. Fey is voiced by Amber Connor. And other than... Oh, wait, no, Mycen also exists, though we're going to have a hard time seeing him.
He's voiced by Doug Stone. I remember that one. I brought him up in the first episode because I didn't realize you had a list and was waiting for the right time. And also Doug Stone voiced Psycho Mantis.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to hear Mycen say, "You like to play Sui Koden. How dare you?"
Grandfather, I'm home. Do you have a minute? There's something I need to speak with you about. Grandfather? Huh. Where is he? Grandfather? Grandfather! Oh, there he is. Over here. Tobin, does this mean you're coming with us? Sure am. I can tell Mom and Pa we're worried, but I think they'll understand. Listen, everyone. Try not to be amazed when I show Alm up on the battlefield. You know they don't pay extra for that, right, Moneybags?
There's nothing wrong with fighting for coin. Many people do. We don't have any rules stating one's reasons must be noble. Now then, Alm, were you able to say goodbye to your grandfather?
I tried, but I couldn't find him.
Well, that is vexing. I suppose we could tarry here a bit longer if you...
It's all right. Let's go.
Oh, are you certain?
I can write him a letter. Come on. We can't wait forever.
So be it. I'll defer to your judgment.
Alright, so we got a whole lot of characters joining the party. We can leave the village now, but first let's talk to the apparently optional characters, Fey and Cliff.
Staying with you no matter what. End of discussion.
So if I remember right, in Gaiden, Cliff is also optional like this.
You know, I guess I don't mind going along. The Deliverance is fighting all across Sophia, right? Well, I've always wanted to see the world.
It's
and
weird
now's
because
the
like they've
chance.
written it so it kind of
All
makes
I have
sense
to
for
do is
Cliff
not
to
get
require a
killed.
little extra prodding
Easy,
just from,
right?
you know, his characterization up to this point. Why is Faye optional?
That is strange, but real quick, before we leave, 5 episodes in, it's finally time. We've actually got our proper characters as they're going to be for the rest of the game. So, that means, future me, take it away. We're doing character profiles, are we? Okay, cool. Yeah, right. So, starting out with Alm, the main character of the game. If you're worried about those growth rates you're seeing down there, in comparison to essentially any other Fire Emblem game, don't be. Those are actually extremely good growth rates. Across the board, Alm has both really good base stats and really good growth rates. He is a solid character overall, decent enough movement, has plenty of equipment made for him, so he's got a few tricks under his belt. I would say his resistance is bad, because to be fair, it is. Like, 4 resistance is okay for a physical class, but he only has the 3% resistance, which, again, don't get me wrong, that's bad. But it's not as bad as it could be. Alm is actually, like, comparably not in too much danger from resistance. That's honestly one of his only problems. His other problem is the fact that he's actually the only character in the game with no actual magic table whatsoever. Any other character does have the possibility of reclassing at least, so they can get a few things, but not Alm. He's got no magic to speak of, cannot be a mage. All he has is his exclusive class line, which is amazing, and you shouldn't really be disappointed in having to stick with it. Again, he has a good enough tool set that he really doesn't need any magic. You'll get a fair few things that only Alm can do anyway. Like, he starts pretty good, unless you actively don't use him, he'll be a solid unit, trust me on this one. And now, as we can see, Gray, in comparison to Alm, is a good starting character. He's got some okay bases, but his growth rates are all a little lackluster, in comparison to alms, and one thing to note is that the villager class won't have permanent growth rates. The ones you see down there are not the ones you stick with. Just a quick spoiler, we will get other classes very, very soon. That being said, Greys don't really change to be anything super amazing. As the game suggests, you are best, of course, putting him on the mercenary class line, just because all of his growth rates will veer in that direction a lot better than they do just about any other. And if you're wondering, yes, you can make him a mage, no, that will not give him a resistance growth rate. He must have a growth rate so badly it's in the negatives, because a magic-based class won't do jack shit for him, ever. You need to use items to give him more than 2 resistance. Next on the list is Tobin, who may not be as even as Gray, but boy, in comparison to a lot of other characters, he can hit things with a 50% skill rate. Again, 50% is actually really good in this game. That is typically the upper level you'll see a character at. So, no matter what, he's gonna be able to hit and crit, and his attack's not too bad. Honestly, he's also just kind of a solid all-rounder. Gray emphasizes the all-round a little more, but 30% luck and 30% defense, that's not terrible. So yeah, he'll wind up a bit slow, but thankfully, the game kind of takes that into account. Gray's kind of the same way. You might have noticed, his base speed stat is actually one of his better starting stats. And that's because he's probably not going to get a lot of speed in the long run, unless he gets super lucky, so that's neat from a game design perspective, but just don't expect Tobin to be the fastest, regardless of what he starts out as. Next off, we've got Lucas. If there's one thing Lucas is good at, it's defense. He is pretty bulky, boasting both a good HP and defense growth rate, and gonna be honest, his starting stats aren't too bad either. If he does have sort of decent starting but slow growing stats, it's probably his attack. 35%'s not terrible, but he'll probably fall behind a little bit. At the very least, though, when you need somebody to block a shot that's not magic, Lucas is your man. Of course, to be fair, a 2% growth rate is better than the last 2 characters we've seen, so you're probably not going to see his resistance go much higher, but unlike Gray and Tobin, you can actually possibly get resistance without an item. Oh yeah, his magic list also isn't great, but, well, I mean, unless you particularly wanted a defensive mage, I don't think that's probably going to be a huge problem for you. And now on to the optional characters. You could wait on Cliff and Fey both, but I can't really recommend that. There's really no reason not to take the 2 of them, especially since, as you might have been able to tell, Cliff is really good. I mean, his base stats aren't, Jesus Christ, 1 skill. Once again, it starts low because his growth rate is actually decent for that, but that does mean that Cliff cannot hit the broadside of a barn for at least a little while. Meanwhile, his luck starts great. You'll probably just be seeing that 10 for a long time, though. And weirdly enough, he also has 0 resistance. He is the designated mage of the group, as you can probably tell from his list, but it's so weird that he won't be able to tank shots from other mages. Though, I guess to be fair, 8 resistance is the best we've seen from all of the characters so far. He'll start well at least, it's just, he'll drop off if any other character can get up to 8 resistance or higher. So, unlike the other villagers, Fey here doesn't really have a designated path, and I'm gonna level with ya. you can pretty much just take her anywhere. Like, any class is good for her. Like, the base stats aren't the best, and she has the exact same skill problem Cliff does, but, like, Fey will probably excel in whatever class line you put her into. You do need a little bit of time, but it's the beginning of the game. You have time to make Fey good. It's also worth noting, hey, yeah, here's the first character where the space of that magic table comes in real useful, because it's actually filled out, because Fey has multiple mage classes. In fact, there's actually one spell missing from that list. Exemplar is missing Restore, which you also get at Exemplar level 1. But yeah, no, she's got a lot of viability as a mage. So I guess in order to not have Fey hog the entire spotlight of the first character profile section, I should note that, technically speaking, every male character should have an extra spell on their list. Guru is one of the DLC classes, but I am including the DLC classes on here for the most part. It's just any male character can be the Guru class except Alm, because Alm can't reclass into that, but yeah, by default, Guru will always get a spell called Lemageddon? Lemageddon. It's Armageddon for lemmings, which is fairly easy given the old lemmings fable. But yeah, I just didn't feel the need to actually put that on there, because they'll always get that spell no matter what. I don't know, does anybody want it on there? I don't feel like it's strictly necessary, but I guess if you really need the reminder that Lemageddon is on every male spell list, then I could probably put that in. Either way, Alm and Fey are absolutely amazing, and technically speaking, you could take any character through a specific path, but yeah, they do all have their designations, Cliff especially. If it wasn't for Fey, he is absolutely the optimal mage, considering he actually gets spells, whereas everybody else gets like 3 at most. 3, maybe 4, there you go. Have fun out there, champ. But yeah, I guess that's it for now, so we'll get back in there, and then I guess you can see this ragtag band of weirdos in whatever fight we'll be doing in this episode. As if I don't already know what that fight is. Alright, so I don't actually know what the character profiles are going to look like yet. I haven't made the template, but whatever.
Oh,
I'm sure she did a good job.
What do I do for this part?
Oh, you don't do anything.
What do I do with
that's future me?
It's on screen. Okay.
Yeah, no, just pretend that the character profiles were up and you saw them and they were good and they were great and you loved them.
Oh wow, I can't believe you said that about Tobin. It's kind of rude.
Yeah, well, these things happen. Calls them as he sees them. So yeah, I'm just going to show off how the inventory works. As stated before, each character can only carry one item. That's item, singular, be it weapon or food. You can only carry one. Now, food is good for just eating in the middle of a fight to recover HP, so if you want Lucas to just stuff his face with flour to heal, you can do that. In the future, though, it's typically better to just carry a weapon or a shield and just have other characters do the healing. We've got options.
If only people made clothing with more than one pocket in this world.
I've got this backpack for exactly one thing, my flour, which I love. Delicious, delicious flour. Some people say you gotta turn this into bread to make it taste good, but I disagree.
So thanks to Tumblr, one thing I've learned since I've last played this game is that eating raw flour is super, super dangerous. There are bacteria that love to live on wheat that will kill you.
Are you sure about this? Am I sure about what? Not saying goodbye to your grandfather. My ma and pa have all my brothers and sisters to look after them. I mean, sure, they'll miss me. Or I hope they will, at any rate.
But family will help them get by, you know? But all Sir Mycen has for kin is you. And all you have is him.
I know. But considering he's never let me take one step outside the village, I doubt I could have talked him into letting me join an army. Not that it would have changed things either way. I have to go. Not just to prove him as a teacher, but to prove myself to me.
Well, you've always wanted to put Ram behind you, right? This is your big chance. Your first adventure writ large. We'll call it Alm's Epic. Or maybe The Tale of Grey. Plus that one guy.
I don't think so. Although, I admit there might be a little something to what you're saying. It's almost as if I feel someone calling out to me.
So you really have gone crazy then? Well, it's been nice knowing you.
Look, I know how it sounds, but it's the truth.
Do you think it's Celica?
What? Celica? Where the heck did that come from?
Oh, please. You two were inseparable while she was here. You barely made any time for us.
I guess that's true. Maybe it is her. Celica. Are you the one who's been calling me? I know that you're out there. I just don't know where. But I can feel it. I hope this journey will bring us together again.
First, we should make for the southern outpost. Desay's men hold it for now, but my fellows in the Deliverance have been fighting to reclaim it. The Deliverance hideout lies beyond the outpost. We'd best prepare ourselves for a long journey.
Indeed, we should. So, here we are at Ram Village. Let's take our first step to freedom. But first, let's take a look around this map. We can't really see a lot around here at the moment. Tough-looking guys over there. Let's worry about the first step first. So we can move. Basically, we have to first press A on Alm and then go towards the target. And yes, the moment we step away from Ram Village, we get a battle. Just leave and then immediately.
Oi, travellers! Afraid I'm gonna have to ask you to stop right there. These here woods belong to me and my boys, see? So if you want to be passing through, you're gonna have to pay the toll.
Well, that didn't take long.
Brigands already? But it's only been minutes. We're still within sight of the gates.
Worse surprises than this await us all. Is everyone ready?
Yes. Come on, let's clear this rabble out. Follow me. I'll clear us a path.
Alm, if I may, you mustn't rush headlong into battles on your own. Without experience, your friends will never grow into accomplishments.
Yeah, so Lucas is gonna give you a bit of advice here. Alm and Lucas are 100% your strongest characters at the moment. Followed by Gray, then Tobin, and then a tie for worst between Cliff and Fey. So basically, as you usually want to do in Fire Emblem when you have the chance is soften up units with your stronger characters, provided they don't kill whoever you're targeting, and then rush in with the characters you actually want to get the experience, because you get more experience when you kill than when you just defeat an enemy. So what we're going to do here is basically just lure in the first enemies. Lucas has pretty solid defense, of course.
Just say the word.
Alm is pretty good at attacking, but I left him in the bushes anyway. And we're just going to gather everyone up behind. So yeah, as you can see, Alm can already double attack, so you can kind of just wipe the floor with these guys. Even Lucas gets a double attack, which... Bandits, what are you doing?
Oh, I be moving slower than molasses today.
You can't touch me!
I was too impressed by that guy's flips. They're good flips.
I knew I shouldn't have put those 10-pound weights in me boots as a joke.
So here's where the game introduces Danger Zone, which just shows you where enemies can move and attack. Always useful. Has been a fantastic feature ever since. Well, they've always kind of had it, but they made it more convenient, I think, in Awakening. Was the first time where you could just press a button and reveal the Danger Zone.
Yeah, they really gave you a highway to that Danger Zone.
Yeah, in the Game Boy Advance games, you just pressed the A button over a unit and it showed you their range, but you could only do that one at a time, which was a bit of a pain. So, we definitely want, of course, Cliff and Fey to get the most experience here so that they can play catch-up. Honestly, Gray, for being a villager, unlike Alm and Lucas, still does pretty good, and you might have noticed the symbol by him earlier, which means something specific that we won't worry about yet because we can't do anything with it.
Thank you!
For dying!
I'm glad that you're dead.
This is the first time I've spilled blood, and I'm glad I did it.
You killed me.
Good.
Never count Tobin out.
Alright, I won't. So, I probably mentioned this in character bios, or will mention it in character bios, but, of course, the villager characters you can take in a few different directions overall, but if you want hints as to, where they should be going, there were hints back in the village. If you checked out certain spots, you could see how characters practiced. Cliff burns holes in walls with magic, Tobin uses arrows, and Gray favors the sword. Fey, I guess she just sends her enemies to the Shadow Realm. I don't think I want to know what she does for murder. But she's already good at it.
Yeah, for the 3 villagers that were in the in Gaiden, those grows were the same in Gaiden. So Gray was still best off as a swordsman, Cliff as a mage, Robin at the time was best as an archer. So I guess the reason Faye doesn't have any hints is because she wasn't in Gaiden?
Yep. Oh. Okay, so I think right here he was actually trying to go for the healing panel, which is kind of like an old AI problem that the Gaiden did, where if you hit an enemy, they would kind of just run away and try not to attack you, which is almost smart, but also not. It's also kind of a dumb move, because now I'm just free to kick his ass, and he didn't put any chips in any of my characters.
And he tried to retreat. Jesus Christ.
This is against the Geneva Convention. I don't know if it exists yet. No, he's just trying to go the other way. Oh, well, unfortunately, I don't think Cliff... Oh, wait, no, Cliff can get to him. Good. Okay, I wanted Cliff to get this one.
Yeah, bye.
Alright, so, that's all enemies routed. At the end of any given fight,
They never stood
you're given a summary of who got kills, and you get bonus experience for everyone. You cannot level up from bonus experience, so Faye is just stuck at 99 experience, but it's still very helpful.
We've won!
That was some fine swordsmanship, Alm. I can see you have more than a bit of your grandfather in you.
You think so?
We'll see something in the next episode of Fire Emblem Echoes.
God, the map music is just written in my bones.